What's going on, YouTube? Here we are for another welding stream. I have not cleaned my bench up since last night, but we're going to make use of all these little short bits of filler. Get that big one out the way there. So I've tested the stream, everything seems to be working, but nothing has changed as far as hardware is concerned since last night. I officially broke my chair, so I've pulled in a bar stool and I cannot get comfortable in this thing, but we're going to make it happen. So tonight we're welding an EVO 8 catch can. This one, once I get my arms on, I'll show you what's going on. So we've got this EVO 8 catch can, and where's the second camera? Up here tonight. Can you see that? See right there? There's no light behind that camera. It's actually pointing in the wrong direction, but see that big gap there? Actually, I can show you right here. So we've got a big old gap on that panel join there. So we're going to take care of that first. It's a little bit too big of a gap and it has too much force against it for me to just knock it down. So I'm going to have to reef it down with a clamp. So let's see what we can see. You want to be down low, I think. Alright, so I just have these strong hand clamps. I'm just going to add another extension to it. These are just 50mm extensions, I think. Pop it through the bench. Just putting a nut on underneath there. And the clamping down. Trying to do it in a way where you can see it, but I also need to be able to weld it ultimately. Just going to slide this little 10mm plate underneath here because I am sitting on a Lazy Susan bearing, and that will cock that welding plate over. So I'm just going to press that down with that clamp there. I cannot get comfortable in this chair, but we will make it happen. Alright, so we'll just pop a tack in that corner there. I will make sure you're wearing your welding helmet, like so. And the welding screens have music tonight. I'd love for you to let me know, just seeing if anyone's here yet, but I'd love for you to let me know if it sounds okay. I just sort of uploaded them and trying it last minute. Alright, you can take your welding helmet off now. So we've got a tack there. Oh, I can hear the music. That's fun. So that's all we need the clamp for tonight. Super easy. We'll get that chock out. So I've just reefed that down. you can see, and I'll just focus you. You see that? See that gap there? So that is on this curved panel. The program that I use to draw these parts puts a relief in there. So there's right at the end there's a relief in this panel down the bottom, and then up the top here on this side now, there's actually a fold line there, which is another relief. And what happens in the program, making this this curve as a sheet metal part, it wants this whole thing to be cut on a 45-degree angle. And obviously, if we are laser cutting or as I do CNC cut, these actually are laser cut parts, but we're cutting at a 90-degree angle, not at a 45-degree angle. So that's why we get that weird push away. It doesn't quite know how to calculate the radius of this bend, and it creates that relief, which creates an extra gap there. So that's how I combat that, is just by pushing down with a clamp on the table. Next up here, and is that as bright as you get? So the next thing I want to take care of is this really thin section. So these are two separate panels. I've already tacked down the seam there, but this little point here is really thin, and that'll just melt away real quick when I go to weld it. So I want to tack the corner and put a couple of tacks right up the top here, and I will fusion weld those as well, just to make sure they're all joined together and it creates a bit of a heat sink for the part. So I'll pop you in welding screen 2, enjoy the music. Alright, take your welding helmet off there. So I basically am just hovering around with some filler rod in case anything blows out and I need to dab some filler real quick. But other than that, there was a gap up here, so I just filled that as well. But we've tacked it, we've fusion welded it, so that when we come to weld this part here in a minute, this will create a heat sink and we won't lose that tiny little piece of material up there. I am on this bar stool, my feet are dangling and I'm having a hard time pushing the foot pedal. But I'll either fix or replace my regular welding stool tomorrow. And we'll just make it happen tonight. So we'll get this part nice and clean. It's just some isopropyl. These laser cut parts, they have been cleaned when I tacked them, but this particular catch can has been sitting tacked for a couple of weeks now. I have a, over my shoulder here, I have a box full of tanks just waiting to be welded. Which recently I've just been saving them for the stream. So everything that I was trying to get done today to weld tonight on the stream just didn't happen. Just one of the pitfalls of being self-employed. Sometimes nothing goes to plan, but having that box there really takes the pressure off for me to have to slap something together for us to weld tonight. Chuck him up here. So if you've been on the stream before, you'll probably know the order for welding these tanks, but I've got to go ahead and weld this filter basket in first, and these long sections in between tacks, I'm going to get one in this corner too. I'm just going to put some extra tacks in there to make sure that it doesn't warp too much while I weld it out, and then we'll flip it over and get stuck into the bottom. So I can't show you easy. I just saw a bit of muck on the catch can there. The lighting's not really good in the camera. So take the TIG. The TIG fingers are great. A great addition as a cleaner. If you ever dip your tungsten, cleaning that soot off with a TIG finger is a great way to touch it up before you get the cleaning action of the welder. Definitely buy a genuine TIG finger instead of the Akuma or whatever the rip-off ones are. Jody, the inventor of the TIG finger, has taught me and many other people how to weld, and definitely deserves the support, I believe. If you are into welding, you know who I'm talking about. So I'll get you guys zoomed in there. Let's see where we're going to weld. So I'm going to go ahead and do those tacks I mentioned, but I'm going to tack these 4 corners while I'm at it. And just make sure you guys are focused and can see. I'll try and get you over here a little bit. And we'll focus you up and get your little welding helmet on. And let's get into it. Alright, so we got him all tacked up. That camera there is in a really bad spot. I didn't quite know where to put it tonight. Last night I had it over here and it was basically just giving 2 of the same angle. But, let's see here, I've got my dice, so I make these, I make them as welding, like samples or welding test cubes. They're 100mm long, so the settings that the machine gives you, it gives you recommended travel speeds in 100mm increments. This one I've enclosed, and I put my little ends of my filler rods in there. So that's, I don't know if I've mentioned that before on stream, why it sits on my desk there, but that's why he's here. for the first time ever, I am watching the view account, and I can see some people here. This works best for me if you're in the chat, like say g'day, or if you got any questions or want to critique me on what's going on. I'm here for the interaction, so definitely don't be shy in the chat. So let me get over to the looking screen here. We'll take your welding helmet off. You've had it on this whole time. Can I get you to see this angle? Yes, I can. So you see right there. So right in here, let me grab something to point with. Right through here, we got this big old gap right here. So I'm going to start there. So I'm going to start welding in this direction and try and close this gap up while the part's still cold. You don't have to join the chat. It's cool if you just want to hang out and watch. I just enjoy having someone to talk to, that's all. So we'll come along this gap. You guys can't see anything. It's like zoomed in. Alright, so I'm going to weld across here. I'm going to turn the part. I'll do this first weld and then I'll come back and reposition, because you guys are going to miss out on everything otherwise. And we'll see how well I went with that gap. Actually, if I spin that around, you'll be able to see me go through that gap, and if something goes wrong, so right there. So we're hoping it doesn't blow away as we come along. And I am coming, since I've turned the part around, I am coming from the wrong direction, but I'll just feed rod like a crazy person, and I'm sure everything will be fine. We'll come over here to the welder settings, and on these filter baskets, recently I've been welding them on a pulse setting. Not something that I normally do, but on the stream the other night I was trying to mix things up and tried a pulse setting, and I actually had a good time using it. So this pulse setting is 60% on time at a 1 second pulse, and I'm running at 120 Hertz. Usually I weld at about 105 Hertz, but 120 Hertz is actually really good for the EMF in here, which has been saving the computer, the cameras. They still shut down from time to time, but 120 Hertz seems to be the sweet spot where it doesn't affect the electronics as much. We're running a negative 28% on the AC balance, and the on this pulse setting, the max current is 150 amps, which probably works out to about 80 amps while it's welding, but we can check that at the end. Let's get you into a welding screen and get it done. Alright, let's see how we did. You guys would have seen that while I was welding, but let me check it out. So average 69 amps on that pulse setting. I wonder what it fluctuated on as we were welding. I can't see that until well after this so I can watch back the VOD. But we'll continue on. G'day Chris, how you doing tonight, man? Just put your welding helmet off there, and so you can see. I actually got surprised that that was a pulse setting then. I have no idea why. Your mount has come loose, just bear with me. Alright. Did you hear that pop just then? That's a tack opening up from the heat. Everything around the area where welding looks fine still. So, let me grab a pointer. Where was the gap? Over here? No, it was this end. You guys are in focus. So, it actually didn't start to open up, but I wondered a little bit as I was going through. I was at the start, I wondered a bit at the start because I was actually surprised that I was in a pulse setting. I have no idea what's going on, but Gary, g'day. How you doing tonight, Gary? It's nice to see you here. Job hunting, Chris. So we'll continue on. Where are you guys? Still figuring out this inverted camera. We'll weld along here. I'm going to rotate that. Weld along here. Weld along here. Let's see if we can compromise and get you in focus for all of it. You gotta miss the first one a little bit. Alright, focus you up. Put your welding helmet on. Let's get into it. Alright, that went pretty well. In the wrong screen, here you are. So pulse that filter basket in, no problem. This stool that I'm in, so I snapped my regular welding stool. I broke it a couple of days ago, and today it actually died. I tried Sikaflexing it together yesterday. So I'm on this bar stool today, and my legs are dangling. It's I feel like a little kid welding these parts up. It's actually really weird. So we'll make it happen and get a new stool tomorrow. So I got to come uphill on this part here. We've got this really huge gap down here. So again, this is the relief that my my CAD program creates, both for the cutting profile and for the fold that goes through here. It really struggles with the fold reliefs, but I just have to fill that gap right now. It's going to be from over this way. You guys get, this is the best angle you're going to get. Just focus you in there. Time for a change, yeah. It feels like the right sort of year to have a career change, I think. But I'm all for change. Do something new all the time. It keeps you fresh. Yeah, Gary, it's bloody good to see you here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, birthday the other day. It feels like a lifetime ago, man. It feels like a lifetime ago. But it's just another day in my world. So we'll tack up this. You guys are going to see bugger all, but we'll get it done. And then I think I should actually weld this from the other direction when we go for the weld, but we'll fill this big hole and I'll come back to you. Just grab your welding helmet and check the screen. Alrighty, so you guys just froze on the looking camera. Can I bring you back? Oh god, that doesn't look promising, does it? It doesn't look promising at all. Let me just check out the capture card. This is just a brief intermission. Alright, see if we can bring you back there. I can. The capture card for this camera here, this looking camera, is really hot. It normally gets pretty warm, but I've never had a green line like that before. When I bought it, I bought 2 of them just in case, but the way this stream is going for me, I think buying or getting hold of some legitimate parts might be the way to go, because I was testing out whether all this EMF stuff whether it would just balk everything. I didn't want to shell out for some Elgato stuff, but getting on top of it. As far as EMF management goes, definitely getting on top of it. But I do have a spare. If this card dies, I do have a spare sitting there. Alright, so I'm going to start from this thin point. Hopefully we've tacked it up enough to create a heatsink, and travel down in this direction. Yeah, I guess if you're looking for a change, Chris, if you're looking for a change, but I guess the difference of being out in the shop or being in the workshop on those 38-odd degree days, I think I'd rather be sitting in front of a computer in an air-conditioned office. But The change is important, man. If you're not happy or looking for something new, it has so much more value than simply monetary, in my opinion. How do I measure EMF, Gary? Whether things die or not. I don't have anything to test it with. Pretty much, every night I've been making changes to the stream. It has been a work in progress. There is not a single person that I've seen that has successfully figured out how to stream for any length of time with an AC welding setup. So I've elaborate cable management. I have ferrites on every single cable at both ends. I have recycled tire rubber underneath everything that's touching the ground that's associated with the welder. It's just a trial and error situation. That's all it is. And whatever is happening is I'm pioneering this thing, so I just keep doing what I'm doing, and as long as the stream stays live, I've done my job. Yeah, I feel you, man. 15 years of doing anything is too long, in my opinion. Apart from working in this business, which I haven't even done consecutively for 12 years. I don't think I've had a job for more than 2 years. But I have crazy brain, so I need to do something new almost daily. Pop your welding helmet on, and we're going to stay in a pulse setting and get this one done. Yeah, spoke too soon on that one, Gary. This looking camera doesn't want to cooperate tonight, but it's definitely that graphics card. But we'll just take a quick intermission and swap out that capture card. You guys should still be able to hear me. And I don't know if it needs to install a totally different capture card, but we will find out in a second. Hey, it knows what's going on. So it could just be that that capture card. We'll find out as we go. Not the end of the world. So going up that weld there, I should have known better and got a new filler rod, but whatever I had, 200 mil or something at the start. Had to do a stop start halfway up there. Same system that I always use, which is start 10mm ahead, even on a pulse setting, start 10mm ahead, back it up to the second to last dab, start again on the next dab and continue on. And apart from that, that etch line there, you'd be hard pressed to know that I did a stop start there. Definitely once it's powder coated, you will never know that there was a stop start right in the middle of that weld. So that's bloody good there. Did get a little bit of warping on this panel through here, but I'll be able to knock that down as we cruise around. But let's flip the part over. It's more awkward than it needed to be. So at this point I like to pick a spot to have the start and finish of the weld. Ultimately this is going to be one big circle around the top. I might go... Where are you guys looking? Oh no, Gary, definitely didn't jinx it. For me, it's every time I pop the hood up, it's like a miracle that the stream's still running. I think the very first night we lasted about 13 minutes, and I had catastrophic failure on the computer. But it's varied from 13 minutes through to nearly 2 hours the other night we got. But at the hour and 15 mark, something really weird happens every single night. But I think it's YouTube related, not with my setup. But yeah, it is a miracle that this stream even runs the way that it does, especially with a 4-camera setup. It the welding machine is right below where the mouse is here, and there is, I don't know if you can see it, if it's even still running, but there is a camera directly above it, the one in front, this one here, and one in front of the machine, which you see in this screen here, which that one has frozen now that we're looking at it. But generally I can just reactivate them and they come good. But yeah, every time I lift the hood up, is the stream still running? It's always a gamble, but I'm slowly getting there. And I don't know if you can see here, where am I playing? Right where my thumb is here, I've just bought a cage that I'm going to put the computer in and build like a little ferrite room for the computer itself. Since everything is wide connect, I should be able to hopefully keep the computer alive a little bit longer. But the project sort of started off simple and turned very technical. But you know, work has got in the way of pesky work has got in the way of producing a better stream. But we'll get there over time. So I'm going to come across here and I'll just terminate at that seam there, and then we're going to travel along this curve. I'm not going to switch out to my curved prop. I can do this one quite comfortably on a straight prop, but we will start using heat sinks now that there's quite a bit of temperature in the part here. So if I keep it back there, you guys will still be able to see. So let's get into it. I'll put your welding helmet on first. Alright, but one thing I want to do before I weld out this part is switch to a straight current profile. So for me I use profile 1, which is my main welding profile. Here I'm just running a square wave, again 120 Hz to try and keep the EMF down. and negative 28 on the AC balance. This has a max amperage on foot pedal of 105 amps. And the tricky thing that I've done with this, or actually with all the profiles, but with this setting in particular, is the high frequency spark force I'm running at 95%. And just in that first 0.8 seconds of the weld, I'm running that extra 5%. And that 5% of high frequency spark force is just taking a little bit of that EMF out. I did it one night and it kept the cameras running longer, so that's the norm now. Now we can get into this weld. Talking to myself and the other camera there. Got a bloody nice weld going around that curve. There was one spot through here, probably right there if I had to guess just by looking at the etching zone, where it started to blow out, and that was just around the tack. And I've noticed lately that before I approach a tack, I've started to get some heavy feathering or an actual blowout, and the only thing I can think of is it's because I've started running at 120 Hertz. Not a big deal at all. Obviously around the tack there's a lot of, well, it's pre-joined, so there's some heat soak there, but something that I've noticed has been going on anyway. So let me get you in focus. Oh, I don't think I'm going to weld on that angle. So this is going to be pretty average, I think. So we're coming across the front here. Obviously got this thin piece of material here, but it is welded, so it shouldn't be too bad. The regulator on my air compressor split apart today, and I can't cool this down with the air compressor tonight. So chill blocks and a bit of common sense are the only weapons we have. So we'll get in here, I'll scrap my little third hand to stop this plate from spinning. We'll zoom you in and focus you up. There, so just going across the front here, put your welding helmet on, and we'll dive into a welding screen. Well, I'm really enjoying the background music on the welding screens tonight. I am on about a 40-second delay with the stream, but it's a really good tempo for welding, so I am enjoying it when I hear it, but I am well into the weld before they start playing. So I'm just checking out my gas bottle. I am getting quite low on gas, but 9 times out of 10 it'll run on 0 for 3 or 4 catch can welds. And I'm having a real hard time with the stool, but we'll try and figure it out. So I'm going to weld this little straight section here. And you guys are in focus. You've got your welding helmet on, and let's get into it. Yeah, I think it adds a nice little dynamic to the weld, I guess. I've been trying to think of ways to make the welding portions of these live streams more interesting. And yeah, after watching a few maker streams, I thought, why not add some music? Royalty free, of course. So next up is this little section here. This internal angle is difficult for me every time, but I'm just going to put a dab in there first and then come back and weld across it. So you guys should be able to see okay there. We'll pop your little welding helmet on and we'll dive into it. Alright, no problems at all there. When I spin it, you guys lose sight of everything. Probably doesn't help if you zoom all the way in. So we're moving around the top of this tank pretty well. This is considered the back of the tank. It pushes up against the firewall on the vehicle. This is the front section that you see here, and this curve is prominent. The intercooler pipe actually wraps around inside this curved section. But not that that is any reason to change the quality of the welding procedure. So how are we gonna do this? We're gonna buzz across here. Let's make sure you guys can see. Zoom you in. We're very much in crotch cam territory right now, but not much I can do about that. So we're going to buzz across here. I'm going to rotate back here and then back here. You will be able to see the whole way around. The only thing, how can I show you this? Here, the only thing that I need to worry about as I go around here is that there's a vertical seam here, so just getting a tack on that before I buzz around so nothing blows apart. But yeah, we're gonna travel around there. So you're pretty well in focus. We'll pop your, get it all the way on for you. Pop your welding helmet on, and Alright, we lost the looking camera once again. Came back, no worries. That's wonderful. Let me see if I can, gosh. Zoom out and give you a walk around. If I just dim you down a bit, you'll see better. So the entire top of that catch can came out fantastic. Always looks better to me in person than it does on the screen. Not that I'm trying to make excuses for my weld quality, but a couple of little bits that a bit too much heat in as I went around that corner there. You can see that's fanned out a little bit, and other than that, difficult to fault that well. It came up really nice. The part is quite hot. So we'll use my TIG finger to turn him around. Since there is polyester in these gloves, and sometimes it does transfer onto the part. I really wish that I could blow it down with some air and cool it down, but you know, these are the cards we were dealt tonight. Just going to close up those two gaps, and we're going to weld this curved side. I think this will be a good angle. I will just sit my little brass block in here to act as a heat sink. Let's see what I can show you. This will be the best angle I can get. Yeah, thank you, Chris. I think we're getting these settings dialed in on these streams. So I'm going to travel in this direction. Thank you. I appreciate the approval. Hopefully the customer approves as well. So yeah, so we're going to travel this curve. I'm not going to swap out to my curved prop. I'm just going to follow him around. Sorry you're going to miss that first bit, but that's just the way it is. Just pop your welding helmet on there, and I'll get you in this screen here. I don't know about, I guess Foxtel is quite garbage, but I really appreciate you being here. Definitely makes it worth the effort for me. So we got a bloody nice weld. Because you're here, Gary, I am super mindful that I always say where when I'm on camera. But I'm kind of bringing everybody along with me. So this curve here is, it's technically two directions, but really it welds as one direction because it's on an angle in this plane and also a curve. But got a really nice weld there. As I was going through it, which I can sort of show you on this other can here. Let me see if I can zoom you out. It's as far away as you get. I'll move this out the way. Where as in we are. I'm getting the delayed audio. So this, you can see here, the overhang, it makes the overhang almost parallel. There's not a step like there is on the other joins. And that is again because the computer actually designs this as a 45-degree cut, and then I actually take the long side when I cut it because it's too short if I go the inside edge. So there is a step over which really changes the dynamics of the weld. But when I weld these, I am super mindful to try and keep them consistent all over the catch can, because you do actually see the majority of this weld when it is in the vehicle. Not that makes a difference, but I am mindful to keep the profile of the welds consistent over the whole can, which is why I try and weld them all out in one go. Because if I come back tomorrow, this tank will be welded totally different than the way that I would weld it tonight. And it's just like welding has that signature. I guess it's like handwriting. Everybody welds different, and for me at least, and definitely a lot of other welders that I interact with, mood definitely makes a big difference to the quality of the weld. And also how much you're getting paid makes a difference as well. Okay, so I'm going to buzz up across here. The hole cut out here, there's actually two challenges with this little weld here. One is the hole, and the other is that there's a baffle inside that acts like a giant heatsink. So it does stop about halfway down the weld, so we'll see if there's any inconsistencies with this weld after it's done. Sometimes it catches me out, other times it doesn't. But this camera is super close, so I do predict that it will freeze up while we're doing the weld. Not too bad there, so you can definitely see the weld fan out as I went over the really thick part of the internal baffling and then got close to that hole there, but there is going to be a fitting welded on there as well, so that will definitely take out any inconsistencies. these, but really good weld profile there, so not mad about that at all. This one I would like to go in this direction, down, gosh, you can't see, let me bring you over here. So I'm going to go down towards this bottom point here. So we'll get that done now. Shouldn't be too bad of a weld, we'll see how we go. Quite pure welding helmet on there. Definitely need a new piece of filler rod. I keep tucking my legs up on this chair. I'm having a hard time with this chair. I will pop you in this screen and let's go. Alright, we'll be able to, we were able to cruise down there pretty nicely. Not sure what went on with that that little etch splatter there. I do have a fan on behind me. It could have been that. I wasn't really paying attention as I went past, but it doesn't affect the weld quality by any means. So now we've got this bottom section. Earlier I had a pop at the bottom which was a weld tack breaking, and it was this tack breaking down here. So now we get the joy of dealing with this panel that's opened up. So what I'm going to do is turn the tank up and see if I can get you guys to be able to look. Just let me screw back down here. Okay, I am manhandling this camera tonight, so it keeps coming loose there. So I have to weld this huge gap. I've got a couple of ways that I could go about it. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to prop underneath there. I'm going to grab my TIG finger and I'm just going to see if I can close it up quickly. And I apologise for not flicking you over to a welding screen, but you get a brief glimpse of what I get to listen to there. So I did manage to close it a little bit there. Let me see if I can show you. So it's definitely not, it's no longer a 1 mil gap anymore, it's more like 0.3 of a mil. So I should be able to weld that, no worries. There is a little bit of heat in this part, so that does create a little bit of a challenge, but I'm going to come down this seam and then along here. I would actually prefer to weld this as one piece, and I might actually do that. So I'm just going to why compromise? I'm just going to close up this join here and weld this vertical seam, which you guys will be able to see in that top corner there. Pop your welding helmet on, and let's jump in here. But yeah, got a really nice join on that one. Now we'll flip it over and I'm going to start back in this corner. Got a really hard time getting comfortable. How many times am I going to tell you that tonight? Alright, you guys back here. So I am going to come in this direction. How do you get to see that? The camera's probably going to spring up. So let's come down here, we'll come down here, and we'll be able to get right around to here. You guys will see the whole thing. Oh, there he goes. So this camera, this little looking camera, is on an old monitor, hydraulic monitor arm. I shifted the hydraulic ram down a little bit to take a bit of the pressure off, but you get it in the sweet spot and it launches this camera right up. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, I really felt like I compromised on that last section. Put the filler rod down to just over an inch there, but as I was welding, I was pushing the part away and it was rotating. So I got a less than stellar weld on that piece there. You can see the start-stop I got there, but really rough. I mean, it's still not a terrible weld, but it's a bit undulating compared to the beautiful smooth welds on the rest of the part. A little bit disappointing, but I made a compromise and now I have to live with it. It was working in my favour, and then eventually I pushed the part too far out of the way. So I only got 4 more welds to do on this tank. We're going to get close to this hole in a second, which you can't see, but right now I'm going to go up this section here. We've been streaming for an hour 23. I didn't see if the stream dropped out. Normally we get a dropout at an hour and 15 minutes. I didn't see it drop out. We might have had a successful stream. I probably spoke too soon, but something that I do get to see is dropped frames and CPU usage, and we've had no problems tonight, which is bloody amazing. Alright, that was a good little section there. Your camera did drop out though, but hopefully you'll come back. Yes, here you are. And you didn't see that last weld that I did. Redeemed myself on this vertical section here after this dreadful looking weld there. It doesn't look as bad in person as it does on the camera, but it still isn't my best work. So I'm going to get an extra tack in here because we've got quite a large span here on both. You can see me in the little corner camera there on both this surface and this one. So I'll get a tack along there. Find you guys. So I got you in focus there, so I'm going to tack here, I'm going to buzz along here and then along here. You're in focus for all of that. You got your welding helmet on, we're all good to go. We got enough filler rod, yes. And let's get you in this. here you are. Did that camera stay on? Yes. So a couple of nice welds there. But all in all, that looks bloody brilliant. We just got our stream dropout for the night. That was at exactly an hour and a half. I'm still super curious to know if that's a YouTube problem or if that's a me problem. But so far it's happened without fail. So I'll get you in focus here. So this is the final weld. I actually think I want to weld in the other direction from the top of the tank to the bottom of the tank to get the stop at the bottom there, so there's not a big crater up the top, even though you don't see that section, but I'd always rather it to be at the bottom. So let's dive into that. That's all we got to do, yeah. Let me pop your welding helmet on for you, and alright, we did it. This doesn't matter what angle I put this tank at, this terrible weld is staring me in the face every time. I'm really happy with how this tank turned out. This poor weld aside, the whole point of these live streams is to show the real weld, not the Instagram edited version. And sometimes you weld in a shitty angle and you get a result you're not happy with, and that's real life. I will never ship a product out to a customer that I'm not happy with, so that's the only thing that I really need to worry about. I just need to tighten your base up again. I must put some Loctite or something on this in the future. So there we go, EVO 8, this is an EVO 7, 8, 9 catch can. It fits all three versions. This is welded up. This one will get some -10 fittings on it. The drain, we need to drill out these holes to 7mm and put the brackets on it. That's not going to happen tonight. We're at an hour 34, that's a wonderful time to end the stream. Tonight, my question, normally I don't watch the viewer count, but tonight I have kept an eye on it, and I bloody appreciate it. Everybody who's here, Chris and Gary in the chat, that makes it for me. The chat is really the only thing that I care about. The views are great, subscribers are great and all that stuff, but the fact that you guys take the time to say g'day and start a dialogue, that is what I'm here for. I'm trying to showcase what I do, me, and by osmosis, I'm trying to encourage others to do the same. So that's the mission behind this stream. This tank turned out great. I'm super happy with how the stream ran. My question for tonight is, I have this camera up here, so when I started this stream I thought 4-camera setup was the go. I spend 90% of my time in this sort of setup, showing you guys what I'm doing versus letting you see me. What's something cool that I can do with this 4th camera? I thought about having it on my head, which I don't know how that would go with being so close to the welding situation. I guess it's no different. I don't know, on my wrist, on something to get a fun, exciting angle. That's my question for tonight. I'd love to know what I could do with that 4th camera and maybe make this stream a bit more personal, make it a bit more engaging. So yeah, so going back to, where are you guys? You're here. Gary and Chris, again, thank you, and Sophie, I guess, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me and hang out with me tonight. Everybody who was here throughout the night, you guys rock also. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. Everybody who's watching the VOD, the stream after it was live, I would love to know what I can do better to make this stream more engaging. And thanks for checking it out. We're still on the road to try and get to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 600 and something right now. YouTube will unlock a whole bunch of advertising capability for me to be able to promote the stream once I get to 1,000. So anybody who, yeah, 2-foot pedal, sorry, Chris, yeah, two foot pedal, or just the foot pedal in general, might be an interesting angle. I'll try that tomorrow. Yeah, if you like what I'm doing here, subscribe, like the video, dislike the video, whatever you need to do that feels right for you. Those subscribes matter at the moment, those likes matter at the moment. So yeah, I would love to get this out to more people, to have greater interaction, and ultimately to inspire people to make shit. That is the real goal. Right here behind me, where is it? Right here. I put a spotlight on it tonight. That's a giant Lego man that I'm building. I'm wondering if I should do a sanding and painting stream, something a bit different for welding, something not catch can or AT performance related. I've 3D printed all his limbs, his body and stuff, but I'm not working on him, and a couple of hours in an evening on a stream will probably get him close to finished. Food for thought. Thank you everybody for spending this time with me. See you tomorrow.